I am your host, Justin Yantz, and this is episode 78. And I'm going to talk about life. I'm going to talk about the new Taylor Swift re-release. I'm going to talk about Godzilla vs. Kong. I'm going to talk about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I'm going to talk about politics, and I'm going to end with a quote. Now, here's your spoilers. There will be spoilers on Godzilla vs. Kong. I will warn you about that. There will be spoilers on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Everything else, there's not going to be any spoilers. So, stay tuned. So, when this goes out, this will be Easter Sunday when you are listening to this. I'm recording this on a Saturday. I had a nice time with my family. I got to spend some time with my grandmother, who is in her hundreds, which is amazing. And she looks great, and she can still move, and she can, still walk without a walker. I mean, that's amazing. It was nice because most of us were all vaccinated, so we didn't have to wear masks. That was, a thrill because when Christmas came last year, we were not able to spend it with my grandmother for fear of COVID and how bad it had gotten. And when you're in your hundreds, you got to take certain precautions. I thought it was nice. It was nice to be back with people. We got to go outside and talk. We were on the trampoline. It was just nice. It was nice to see cousins and people that I haven't seen in a while. It was a nice little drive up there to High Point, North Carolina, where my father is from. I enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying your Easter weekend, because Easter's always been a fun time for me. I don't know where you lie on the religion side, and I try not to get into religion on this podcast, but I guess we could talk about, the Easter bunny, eggs. It's kind of amazing that we went from Jesus to the Easter bunny, but they kind of became entwined in some ways in this holiday. I've always enjoyed the Cadbury cream eggs, especially the caramel Cadbury cream eggs, which reminds me I need to get some of those before that goes away. And I'm a pretty healthy person, but, got to have at least one Cadbury cream egg, just to have that moment. The family is going to go out and we're going to have a nice dinner. So it should be a nice time. So I wish everybody a good, Easter weekend. Now let's talk a little bit about April 11th is when Taylor Swift is re-releasing her album Fearless. And this is her re-recording all of them, so she owns the masters and nobody else can, tell her what to do with her music. I'm excited to get this CD again. Well, not CD, tracks, album. What do we call it? Digital music. I don't think a lot of us still use CDs. I don't use CDs very much, just for the convenience of I like just listening to it on my phone. But yes, she's releasing Fearless, and it's going to be coming out on April 11th, my birthday, and what a birthday present it shall be. That, as well as Daniel Bryan in the main event for all you wrestling fans, should be a great time. I'm thrilled though that she's getting a chance to put this back out there. Some of these songs I don't think we've heard. She's got some remixes on there. I love Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is my favorite artist. I don't think anybody has done as many albums of quality as she has. And she continues to raise the bar, and she deserves that Grammy that she got, and she earned it. and Folklore is an amazing CD. So I'm very proud that she was able to do that. Um, I'm thankful that I get to listen to this CD. And while we're here, why don't we look at this track list just so we can say we did. So here we are. Let's see here. Taylor Swift. Here we are. Taylor Swift, Fearless, Taylor's version. So the first track is Fearless, one of my favorite songs. 15, one of my favorite songs. Love Story, I've grown to love it. Hey Stephen, I love that song. White Horse, You Belong With Me. Breathe, Tell Me Why, You're Not Sorry, The Way I Loved You, Forever and Always. The Best Day, one of my favorite songs. Change, pretty much all of these are my favorite songs. Change, Jump Then Fall, Untouchable, Forever and Always, the piano version. Come In With the Rain, Superstar, The Other Side of the Door. Today Was a Fairy Tale, one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs that doesn't get enough attention. The title track in Valentine's Day, and You All Over Me, which I've listened to, haven't grown to love. And then we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bonus tracks, which we have no idea what they are. So I can't wait. That should be a fun time to listen to that music. I love my Taylor Swift, and I can't get enough of another album, and I'm sure it'll be number one, and you know what? She deserves it. So Taylor, a toast to you. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about Godzilla versus Kong. Godzilla versus Kong. Wow. I'm amazed. I I thought this was going to be horrible. I thought this was going to be another Godzilla movie that I'm going to be like, that was okay. 2014's Godzilla, uh, wasn't bad. They had good actors in it, but it wasn't great. Godzilla King of the Monsters, I had high hopes. Not bad. Godzilla versus Kong, wow. They hit it right out of the park. Right out of the park. It felt so different from anything they did tone-wise. It didn't drag on and on. It's a short, concise movie, 1 hour and 58 minutes as opposed to 2 hours and 5 minutes and 2 hours and 11 minutes. It didn't need to be long, but the other ones all felt really long to me. And this just went by in a flash, and it's really good. And it's directed by Adam Wingard, who he's done films like You're Next, The Guest, Death Note. He is heading up the full Face Off sequel, and he studied at Full Sail University for all you NXT fans out there. That's a professional wrestling term there. The people that are the actors in it, it stars Alexander Skarsgård, Millie Brown, Bobby Brown from Stranger Things, Rebecca Hall, Brian Tyree Henry from Deadpool 2, Sean O'Grady, Eliza Gonzalez, Julian Dennison. Oh wait, no, actually it's Julian Dennison. That's the one who is was in Deadpool 2. My mistake. Lance Reddick, Kyle Chandler, Damian Beecher. Phenomenal actor. If you've ever seen The Hateful Eight, he's great in that. He was great in Alien Covenant. He's great in the film he did about immigration. That's where he kind of came into it. He's really good actor. So again, the music was done by Tom Holkenberg, who did Justice League, and he's to me he's like almost the new Hans Zimmer in some ways, because he just continues to produce really good scores, and they work in this action environment. Now let's talk about the movie. So Godzilla versus Kong, it's what you think, Godzilla versus Kong. But the way they get there is in interesting, unique terms. It's not just Godzilla and Kong fighting for 2 hours. One of the things I liked that this film did is it brought humor, and the human characters I actually cared about. Some people are going to say they could have been better written here and there, but that's not why you're seeing this. You're seeing this to see Godzilla versus Kong. But the way they set it up and all the human characters, I actually cared about them. So that works. I was happy with that. I wasn't disappointed with what they had done. So now let's get into spoilers, and there's only going to be 5 seconds now. Okay, you've been warned. Here we go. Spoilers. Mecha Godzilla. Wow. I knew he was coming in. I liked the way they kind of got there. Damian Beecher's kind of unleashes Ghidorah's skull, and his spirit kind of goes into Mecha Godzilla, and it's kind of Godzilla facing Kong. And at one point, Godzilla beats Kong, and it's just Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla, and he's just beating the crap out of Godzilla. And then Kong gets resurrected, and he's told by the little girl that Godzilla is not your enemy. That thing is. And they team up and they beat him, and it was pretty cool to see them team up. The Godzilla versus Kong fights were really cool, really choreographed well. One of my favorite things that they did was when they're having the fights, you can see the audience is looking up. I mean, the people are looking up, and they're showing these giant views of them looking up. So they took a lot of that Jurassic Park take on there, where they made them feel like larger than life, which I felt was missing in some of the other ones. They did a little of that in 2014, but not enough in King of the Monsters, and I liked the way they did that. Here, he would cut, they would be fighting, and then he'd cut to the people down there, like just their point of view. Not really the people, but just the point of view of what it would look like if they were looking up. The battle scenes were big and huge, and you saw these huge fights, and I just thought they just nailed it. They nailed the tone. If I could say anything, this reminded me of Transformers and Bumblebee, the Transformers movie, because they found the heart of it. And one of the things that you like about this movie is Kong has a real strong heart, and you love his character. Because Kong is, he's got a human element to it. And we see that he's doing sign language, and, he's communicating with this girl, and he wants to protect her. He's not this just inanimate monster. So I liked that. I liked the way they did it. It wasn't too long. I liked the fact that they have to go to Hollow Earth, and he has to retrieve this axe, and you've got Godzilla burning through to the center of the Earth. The battle scenes were awesome. The way they did it, I don't know how they're going to follow this up, but it was great. You got to see them fight, and then at the end, you got to see them, team up. I mean, because you really didn't want to see either one lose. So, just really good. If you've ever seen the original Godzilla versus King Kong, it's not very good. It's kind of a cheese fest. It's, not that great. It's camp. But this is like what it would be like if they had all those things. So they did a good job of building this universe and having these characters, and I think it's starting to really work. So hats off to them. The acting in it was really good. Rebecca Hall was great as the kind of the protector of the little girl there. Eliza Gonzalez, she didn't have a lot to do, but she was good in the scenes that she was in. Alexander Skarsgård, the nerd who kind of rises to the level. Damian Beecher, he's he's kind of a he's the bad guy in some ways. And Bobby Brown, she continues to move in. Brian Tyree Henry, he does a great job. Julian Dennison, they do. It's just really good. I can't wait to watch it again. My only disappointment was I didn't get to see it in the IMAX, or in 4DX, because if you were in moving chairs, this is the kind of movie you'd want to see that kind of thing. It's not too long. It works. You see the fights you want to see. They feel drawn out and they don't feel short. They feel just the right amount. So Adam Wingard, he has resurrected this franchise. They finally have a good Godzilla film. I can't say enough good things about this. Kyle Chandler, he didn't have a lot to do in this movie this time, but I really liked it. I enjoyed the human characters. I felt emotion for it. It had a heart. This movie has a heart. And that was, I think, missing in the other films. I didn't really care about anything there. And this movie has a heart. You feel for Kong and you feel for Godzilla. And Mecha Godzilla is so cool and, just dominant. Really good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I can't recommend this enough. Go see Godzilla vs. Kong. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 3. Wow. We're already at episode 3. Yeah, that's amazing. Really good episode. Really sets up a lot of things. There's no way to talk about this episode without going into spoilers, but if you liked 1 and 2, I think you're going to like 3. So watch it if you're liking this. Now we're going to get into spoilers. Okay, you've been warned. So spoilers. Zemo, they break him out of prison, and Zemo, we find out, is actually a baron and royalty, and they play up. We got a lot of great scenes of the three of them heading in and taking on things. Unlikely trio. We see him have to kind of get the Sharon Carter returns in this. So that's cool. Sharon returns. We find out she's been living off the grid after, helping them in Civil War. So it's cool to see them explain some of that. Zemo, we see him fight a bunch of guys and stuff. And then we see him, we're not sure if Zemo is a bad guy or a good guy. Daniel Bruhl does such a good job that it's hard to tell if he is on their side or if he's not on their side. At one point, they find out that the super soldier serum was replicated, and I think they took it from Cap's shield, and now he's regretting ever giving the shield to the government, and now he's also regretting not destroying it. And Bucky was like, no, you can't destroy it. It's a symbol. So a lot of good things there. The big cliffhanger here is Wakanda wants Zemo. They are still upset that he killed the King T'Chaka. So that was the big cliffhanger at the very end of this episode. But Zemo's a cool character, and they're really fleshing him out more, and we got to see him, do some damage. But apparently the super soldier serum was replicated, but the difference is this one doesn't change your physique or anything. It's very subtle. And there's only a little bit left, and they're kind of on the hunt to find where it is, and there's some big character we haven't met yet. Who knows? Zemo may be turning on them, but I think that would be too obvious. I think he is going to turn on them eventually, but, we haven't seen that. But there seems to be some character that we, in the wings that we're, should be surprising when they reveal that character to us. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought, Anthony Mackie as Falcon is so great, and Sebastian Stan does such a good job as Bucky. I mean, they have such great chemistry, and now adding Zemo and just cool stuff, and the shots, the fight scenes in this are really cool, really lit well. Everything's interesting, and you're just there's one point where the bad guys have a gun to him, and his phone rings, and he has to answer, and he's trying to be a bad guy, and Falcon is like, and he says, at one point she says, "I'm not listening." She says the name Sam, and they're like, "Who's Sam?" And they just start. There's big gunfight and everything. But I like the way they're shooting it. This feels very much like Winter Soldier, Captain America: Winter Soldier, and it's got that feel, that gritty vibe. It's a completely different tone than WandaVision, and I just love what they're doing, and I love Zemo's character, and it just everything flows. It's the perfect companion piece to hold you over to wherever they're going next. I can't wait to see what they do with Loki, because I'm sure that'll be a different tone as well. Marvel just continues to improve on their formula. Seeing bringing Sharon back, bringing Zemo back to flesh those characters out even more. Uh, the it just so many interesting questions. The people that are buying, that are the bad guys, we don't know if they're necessarily the bad guys, but they're there. And we've got the fake Cap, who seems to be played by Wyatt Russell, who seems to be suffering effects from the super soldier. He wasn't in it a lot, but he seems to be changing. So I thought this was a great episode, really lent itself to a lot of things, and we're going to find out what Wakanda wants. Well, we know they want Zemo, but we're going to find out how bad they want Zemo. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about politics. So we've got an infrastructure bill. I don't know if it goes far enough, but it's a start. So that looks like that's the next step in Biden's plan, is to really get infrastructure done. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, because it seems like the Republicans don't want to do anything with him. The Capitol building was attacked once again. We found out that Matt Gaetz may be a possible pedophile, and that there's a lot of evidence to this, and it looks like his days are done. Pot was legalized in New York, which doesn't really go into effect for 11 months, but it's happened. COVID is rising again, because apparently people think they don't have to wear masks. I talked about that last week, but that's still coming up. The Amazon situation of finding out that their drivers are being forced to pee in bottles, and make their excrements in bags, which that there seems to be more smoke to that fire, as you would say. Marjorie Green brought up a good point. Why haven't the Democrats brought up that obesity is one of the main causes of death in COVID? And I think that's a good point. That's a point that I like that she made. And you know what? Obesity should be addressed there, because obesity, I think, has a lot to do with with a lot of people who are dying, and it's not being credited. But the government doesn't seem like they want to ask anything of the people, and I think we should ask the people: take care of yourself better, be in better health. The Major League Baseball, they moved the All-Star game from Atlanta because of the new voting laws. So a lot of interesting things are going on. So let's look at the Capitol. Apparently somebody, tried to, killed a cop. And it's kind of sad, because it looks like the Capitol building is just going to have to remain a fortress. And it used to be a place where you could go and, visit. And now it's this iron fortress. So that's very sad. I don't know where this goes. There was another shooting. It seems like we're not going to do anything like this. And it seems like one side wants to ban assault rifles, and the other side doesn't want to do anything at all. There has to be some kind of middle ground. I think we should look at licensing guns. I know some people aren't going to like that. If you already have guns, that's fine. But, new guns, maybe we should look at licensing guns the same way we license cars. And that way, if you need an assault rifle, you have to have another license. But I don't think we should get rid of them. I just think, it should be harder to get certain weapons. But that's just me. I don't know where this goes, but hopefully some across the aisle situations will happen. It's sad that COVID is rising again. In North Carolina, it's staying steady, so that's nice. But in a lot of the states where they're relaxing the laws, it's going up. I think it's going back up in New York, and I just don't know what to say. I don't know how we can continue to have this situation continue to happen. We've got the filibuster problem now. Looks like Mitch McConnell doesn't want to do anything with the filibuster. He wants to block it at all cases. They don't want any kind of reform. We have to do something. This 60 votes thing is so you don't have 60 votes, so it just dies. It's just insane. I mean, the graveyard of bills, thanks to the filibuster, is very sad. Matt Gaetz, not a happy day for him. I feel bad for him. I mean, I don't wish ill will on somebody, but, if these allegations are true, he has no right to really serve in Congress. And he could possibly serve jail time. It's sad that this is happening, but I don't know what else to say. Pot legalized in New York, that's a huge thing. A lot of people thought it wasn't going to happen, but it's actually happened, and unfortunately it's going to take a while for it to go into effect, but it has happened. So I don't know. It seems like everything is going crazy. Infrastructure, hopefully this will go through. A lot of the left don't feel it goes far enough. I think it's a step. We need to do some kind of infrastructure. We're not doing any. We haven't done any. So hopefully that'll happen. Maybe they could put minimum wage in that, but I doubt it. Ilhan Omar did an interview, and they kind of revealed that, they don't really have a plan. They kind of just are hoping that Democrats are going to do the right thing. And it's like, if those Democrats don't agree with you, they're never going to be on your side. And you need to realize that there are people that are allies. Your Democratic colleagues can be your allies, but they're not necessarily your friends. Same thing with the Republicans. Allies. It's a strength in numbers thing. A lot of people want the left to be, the Tea Party of the left, and they don't want to do that. They want to be liked by everybody. It's like, you can't be revolutionaries and be liked by everybody. But that seems to be the thing. They are hoping, that people are going to come around to doing the right thing, and it's like they need to vote in a block and be like, look, if we're not going to get these things, we're not going to vote for the bill and force change. But they don't seem to want to do that, and they don't seem to know how power works. But a lot of interesting things are happening. Should be interesting to heat up. And I got to say, I like what Marjorie Greene said. I don't like a lot of what I pretty much disagree with everything else she says, but on that there is some thought to be put to that obesity is one of the leading causes of people that die from COVID, and we should ask more of people to eat healthier and be in better shape. I'm not saying, look like a supermodel. I'm saying make better choices. But that's just me. Some people don't want to do that, and, that's their right. I gotta move this thing. I keep hitting it. I'm sorry about that. But hopefully this capital situation can be resolved. I don't want to see any more dead cops, and we've had the trial of the guy who killed, wow, I'm like blanking on names now. I can't believe I'm blanking on this name. How can I blank on this name? It's been on all day. I guess it's late. So the trial of Derek Chauvin, who killed and now I'm blanking on that. George Floyd. How can I forget George Floyd? I mean, They, showed that he sat there for 9 minutes. I don't know why he just left his knee up. He was already subdued at 2 minutes. Nobody would have died, would have done this. And you've got the cops telling him not to do anything. It's a very sad situation. No one had to die. We didn't have to have this situation. It could have been prevented, but it wasn't prevented. So now we're having the argument here. And we need to look at police reform. Not abolishing the police, but police reform. And it doesn't seem like we're doing anything with that. So, a lot of things. I could go on and on here, but we must move on. And let's just hope for the best. Let's hope that the government can resolve itself, because a lot of bad things, but some good things. And, I try to stay positive about this. And I still say, if we play our cards right, we can be out of the woods with COVID by September. But we don't know that, but I think that's where we need to go. So let's end with a quote. Let's end on a positive note. Do what you can with what you have where you are. Theodore Roosevelt. Do what you can with what you have where you are. So it says, no matter where you're starting from, that's your starting place, but do what you can with what you have. Doesn't matter where you have what you have. You can, no matter where you're starting, you have options to do something. So use those. Whether it means starting, a channel, a YouTube channel, whether it means starting a blog, whether it means, raising awareness towards a cause. You have the ability to do something. Do what you can with where you are. Maybe you're not a huge celebrity and you can't reach those people, but you're starting somewhere and you're doing something. The worst part is just doing nothing at all. You got to start somewhere. So I think that's a nice quote to end with. And as always, I want to thank you for listening. I hope you have a wonderful Easter. As always, you can reach me at my handle at Justin Yance. And I will see you next time on the DMF.